you're getting a different level of coaching that we want to see you implement on the field, because this is what college recruiters are looking for. This is what college recruiters are seeing when they go to practice and watch their players. So I'd love to see you doing this on the field. How to Get a College Football Scholarship, a series where we evaluate active high school football players and let them know what levels they have the best chance of earning a college football scholarship at, and most importantly, what they need to do to get to the next level. And in these videos, we break down their highlight videos and also let them know what they need to do, what plays should be moved where, to allow them to actually get coaches that they send their video to watch their video, and most importantly, respond back to it. And with us today is our head coach here at Next Play, Brian Overton, who has over 15 years of Division I recruiting experience, to break down this film with me. So Brian, who do we have today? And share with us what we've got as far as a breakdown with this player.
Yeah, so we're breaking down Christopher here today. He's a 2026 wide receiver. I think he's somewhere between 6'1", 6'2", 175, probably 80 pounds. So he's got good size for a junior receiver. Kind of chose this one. So, if you watch us on a regular basis, I try to mix it up as much as possible as far as like the scenarios of the tape and what we needed to do or not do to him, just so we can give all our viewers, as much information as possible on the different types of tapes that are sent in to us. So for this one, I really liked his order of his plays. I thought he did a nice job ordering his plays. So there wasn't as much of a, adjustment here, adjustment there, move this one up, move this one back, as some of them are. So that's always a good sign, that he had a good order of plays. Again, this is a recurring theme, but we did have him to do an information slide again. There was no information slide that he'll need to add to his tape. So that was one suggestion that we made, that he needs to get done before he continues his outreach and or starts his outreach. So I just want to give you a little context there. So having said that, for this one, we're just going to kind of let it play, and I'll just kind of talk about it as we go here, go along, because again, I won't need to do much skipping around, because I think he did a nice job ordering his plays.
I love me some wide receiver stuff too.
Yeah, hop in any chance
Let's
you get
go.
here. So he's playing the slot here, runs a little slot fade, and I just want to talk about this first play a little bit, because as we go along here, you're going to see a little bit of position flex too. He plays inside some, they play him in there, and they play him outside some. Looks like they're well coached, so they're trying to get a good matchup with him, probably because of his size and some other things. But as I let it play here, you'll see a recurring theme here. He has a big catch radius. He catches the ball outside of his zone a lot, makes a really good adjustment there. On the touchdown catch. And as we go along here, what I really liked about his tape, especially as a skill guy or and a receiver in general, he put a lot of touchdowns in the beginning of the tape. A little out and up here, showing that he can get open, and he shows that he can put the ball in the end zone when he gets an opportunity. And I really like that about skilled players, showing that when you do get the opportunity to put the ball in the end zone, that you're able to do it. And he put a bunch of those here in the beginning of the tape, which I really liked. So
I like how he sticks his foot in the ground too. I like that out and up. I think the corner was very well run too.
yeah.
I wonder what they teach him as far as like, do you go high to the pylon or not? But it looks
Yeah,
like he ran pretty good.
it's good you brought that up, because that factors in, just for our viewers and our listeners, that factors in, to evaluations as well. You never know what uh, what the coach is coaching them. You don't know how he's being coached. He may be doing exactly what the coach asked him to do, so you have to keep that in mind sometimes as well when you're watching players on certain things. But as you can see here, the last two, he really went outside of his catch radius and catches the ball, does a great job catching 50-50 balls. Here you can kind of see his length, lined up against him, a little back shoulder there. So he's got some really nice tools here.
Yeah, I like how he adjusted to the ball. See, that's like that's a feel. Go ahead.
And like you see right here, like they'll line him up, as a single, out here. So that's why I say, they think he's showing some position flex, being able to play inside and outside here. Better throw there. That's probably a touchdown. So you have to keep that in mind too. He did a good job getting open Quarterback just kind of undershot him there a little bit.
Let's see what he got here in the slot. Yeah, so they don't you could tell there they don't really teach him like if it's a zone to wrap and sit in the hole.
No.
Wrap the DB. Where is he in the slot? Okay, the inside. Does he get in?
Didn't, but
Oh,
I like it, love it. Showed a little toughness there, grit as a
yeah.
wide receiver. You always want to show that.
He pushed the
The
pile 5 yards
yeah,
at
so
least in that.
stereotype that they're pretty boys and stuff like that. So
But
any
let me ask
chance
you a
you get,
question. Are you looking like cuz one of the things that I notice is like the way that they cut, the way that they move, sitting in holes and zones. From your perspective, obviously when you're recruiting, when you were recruiting in the SEC is a little
right,
different than when you're recruiting at FIU, right? But are
right,
you looking for football IQ, like on that one play, for example, where he was running a dig? It almost looked like from that middle slot on the trips at the
right,
top of the screen, and he came in and he kind of kept running, and it kind of was a lucky play versus him wrapping the DB sitting in the hole in the zone. From a football IQ standpoint, are you looking for that at all, or is that more go back to the coaching scenario? Like,
yeah.
is he being coached on that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. That's full transparency. That's not avoiding the question at all because we always looked at it as a bonus. Is the best way I can explain it to you. So if he does that and it shows like high football IQ and he does things like that, that we consider high football IQ that we would probably teach. It's a bonus because he's obviously already being coached that way, and is going to think that way when we get him on campus, and he starts practicing with us. Honestly, we don't use it as a huge negative. At least departments I worked for and was running, because for the simple fact of what you just said, there is just absolutely no way to know if he's even being coached that way. Has he even heard to do that ever in his life?
Right.
So the way he's doing it may be the only way he's ever done it his whole football life. And there's just no other way to know if he's necessarily not doing it correctly the way he's coached or not. So usually it's more of a plus than it is a minus. It can help you much more in our eyes, or in my eyes, that it can hurt you because of those reasons. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Okay. And so
Yeah.
what divisions based on his tape do you feel like he'd have the best chance at this point
Yeah.
in the process?
Right now, for these reasons, again, he's got good size. You can see his length on the tape, and he's filled out pretty good. It looks like at that size. I think if he continues to add a little better weight, and really, if he could get up to 190 pounds or so, as a senior at 6'2" or whatever, that's a really nice size player coming out of high school. For that reason, and because of his catch radius, he's a good 50-50 ball catcher with his length. I think he's got really good hand-eye coordination, catches the ball outside of his catch. He's got big catch radius, catches the ball outside of the zone really well. You can see him adjusting to some balls. So for all those reasons, I feel really good about targeting with his outreach NAIA Division II right now. I think he's a really, really good NAIA Division II player right now. We sent in his evaluation to hit the FCS camp circuit this summer. Because of his length and all those things we just talked about. The thing I think that, and I know the next question is going to be, what he can do to get better. And I'll just flow right into it since I said
Yeah.
FCS camp, is I think the thing that is maybe keeping him from that level right now, doing heavy outreach there, is one, the long speed. You don't just really, he can get open. He does a nice job getting open. You know what I mean? But, you really want him to see him especially at that size. If you can really run, that's going to stand out at that size. But you want to kind of see him run away from some people at certain points. even on some of those routes, where he caught the ball, across the middle. Even if you don't take it, take it all the way for a touchdown, you still want to kind of see him separate himself after the catch, some on some of those. So his long speed, and then like you said, he shows some good characteristics in his route running. With some quickness and some fast twitch. I think just polishing that up, a little bit more. Getting in and out of breaks smoothly. He'll bleed out of some of them sometimes. But the biggest thing is the long speed. If he can really show that, he can improve that long speed and maybe get away from, get out and away from some people either after the catch or, when he does a good job getting open, if he can really get some big separation. I think that may move the needle some for him if that shows up either at camp, if he goes to FCS camps and shows that, it can move the needle for him. But for sure, if he can show that on tape next year as a senior, I think he can, level up the evaluation or at some point in his senior year from where it is right now. But I feel really, really comfortable about NAIA Division II scholarship player right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, like you said, if he can make some of the adjustments, and I'm going to share a few that I have as well, and get reevaluated after game 3 or 4, rework his highlight tape and get it out, that's when we could start really saying, okay, Division 1 FCS, let's go get some scholarship offers. Because he should be still maybe spending 10% of his time on the FCS, just so he's got some coaches in his pocket. They might not be interested yet or ready
Yeah.
yet to have conversations, but at least he knows who the area coach is, and he's prepared so that when he does get this film upcoming season, he can attack. Just my only feedback, outside of, like you said, the long speed is the cutting. And like on this corner route, I would have loved to have seen him attack this DB's leverage, uh, get a cut inside, like boom, boom, cut inside, like he's gonna run a post, and then right out. He probably could have spun that kid around. He probably would have fell, based on that kid's talent level. So to me, instead of just coming, running, attacking his leverage, sticking your foot in the ground and going to the corner, which was fine. I think if you would have went boom and stuck with a post and then hit him with the corner, he probably would have fell. And then also on his in routes, I'd love to see him, make a quit, stick your foot in the ground and get across the field at a 90-degree angle. Some of the cuts are kind of a little bit rounded. And again, he's 6'2", right? He's still fitting into his body, he's still learning, getting low, his shoulders over his knees when making cuts. This will help him. So this is the perfect off season for someone at that size. For me, it was much easier to do what I'm talking about now because I'm a low center of gravity. For someone at 6'2", it's harder. But if he can do that and show that on film with the long speed improvements, that's when you're looking at real next, coaches at the next level and above, especially at the higher Division 1 levels, really taking notice.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that? The sticking, I'm just using this play because it's up right here on that corner route. From a evaluation standpoint, from your side of the table, would that have made a difference?
Yeah, and I think it depends on like if we play it here, even if we just go back to it real quick and just let it play, you gotta really look and kind of digest the route too. Here, I'm not so sure if this isn't a slight fade, you know what I mean, versus a
A
corner.
corner?
Just the way he ran it. He tries to wiggle the guy there once he steps on his toes, and then just kind of fade just like you would a regular fade.
I see.
Um, but on the other one that you mentioned, like across the middle, and things like that, for sure, that's what I was mentioning. Like bleeding, he's bleeding some of his cuts, and bleeding out of his right. And when I mean, I may need to explain that a little more too to people listening. What I mean by bleeding is, when Richie talks about, he's rounding it off a
Rounding.
little bit, and um, you know, when you even the hitch or the stop route, whatever they call it over on the sideline, he has, when he started breaking his feet down, it kind of takes him a couple more steps to come back, versus really boom, stopping and coming back to the quarterback. Just small stuff like that. when you're talking about advancing, especially to the Division I level, can make a huge difference. When it shows up on tape. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
you're right on the money there.
Yeah. I mean, even in a slot fade though, I'm still like, I want to turn the guy around. Um, but I also, played college football for 4.5 years and have been coached. You know what I mean? So like when I was in high
Yeah,
school, but
right.
that's also the benefit of listening to these, right? And that's like you're listening to these and you're getting, a different level of coaching that we want to see you implement on the field because this is what college recruiters are looking for. This is what college recruiters are seeing when they go to practice and watch their players. So I'd love to see you doing this on the field as well. So listen, I heard this stat. I think if I remember correctly, it's 21%. 21% of our viewers are actually subscribed to our YouTube channel. So if you like this video, we post evaluations just like this every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific. Now, when we do evaluations for players, we do a much more in-depth evaluation and we list everything out. This is just kind of an idea, a big picture overview of what the evaluations look like. And so only 21% of our viewers are subscribers. So if you enjoy these videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. We also post a podcast here on YouTube every single Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And then we also post another YouTube video every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And that's more of a how-to or a training type video. So again, make sure to subscribe if you like to continue to watch content, and it helps us to make better videos for you. So I hope you enjoy this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.